I wanna be a cowboy, and you can be my cowgirl. I wanna be a cowboy, and you can be my cowgirl. I wanna be a cowboy.
Hello, welcome back to our podcast that is now formerly known as the Dewey Decibel System.
We are now the podcast formerly known as the Dewey Decibel System. That's true. Good morning. Hi.
Yeah, so we have something to...
So what's our new name, guys?
Yeah, so we're calling ourselves now. We did a little bit of research and
Actually, we did a lot of research.
we did a lot of bit of research.
We spent
yeah.
like most of a day, I would say.
Yeah, I know for sure. Yeah,
Making sure that we could
double
use this name.
checking things back and forth.
Collaborating, talking to the
We stopped,
powers
collaborated,
that
and
be.
listened.
We did stop, and collaborated, and listened. All of those things. So now, dun, 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 we need another cool soundbite here. Mark, if you could hook us up. We are heretofore to be known as the Nerd Factor, a library podcast.
Because
Yes.
basically all we do on this show is nerd out over stuff.
I mean, I want to talk
And
about
mentioned
that.
the Madison County Public Library.
It's
Yes.
true. We are the Nerd Factor, a library podcast from the Madison County Public
That's
Library.
right.
That's right, in Madison County, Kentucky. I have an experience about this idea of the Nerd Factor. If you guys don't mind,
Okay.
could I share that experience?
Sure.
Yeah, I'll keep it brief. I feel like, so as I mentioned in a previous episode of our podcast, I'm not a librarian by trade, right, or by education.
No,
I
you tripped and fell.
I
in
did
John
trip over
DUI.
my own 2 feet, and I fell straight into
John
Dewey, right? John DUI, right? Melville, I got that piece. So because of that, I had
the John DUI system.
Yeah.
I've had a lot to learn, and so I've had a bit of like a fresh perspective on libraries just the past, say, 5 or 6 years of my life, and something I've learned. Like, I grew up, as maybe many of you listeners did, walking into the library, and the library is like this kind of cold, stodgy place, right, where the person's sitting behind the desk and they're saying shh, and you're not allowed to have any fun, and it's just a place where you do like research, and it's boring for kids and it's boring for everybody. That is insanity compared to the reality of what libraries are these days.
Yeah.
Libraries are, and this is my opinion or my conceptualization, but they're a place where you can bring what you're nerdy about, right? What you're passionate about, what you want to learn about or want to explore or want to see more of or what have you. And the public libraries all over the world, all over the country and all over the world are like hubs for that. I've worked at a couple different public libraries in my short career. I've worked here at Madison County Public Library, and I've also worked in New Jersey at the Cape May County Public Library for a year. And I was like, okay, so it's going to be super different. Maybe this library is going to be the place where they're saying, shh. It was
It's like you're searching for it. Like, I want to find that library.
I want to be proven wrong in a
They're
way.
out there.
Okay. Well, I haven't seen one yet because the one in Jersey was just exactly the same. It was like, with open arms, welcome nerds. Be it comic books or construction or weaving or poetry or anything, programs and community initiatives. Anyway, welcome to the Nerd Factor, a library podcast.
Yeah.
We're very excited about you, right, and what your Nerd Factor might be.
Yes, so share it with us.
Yeah.
It's really funny, though.
Yeah.
You're talking about how when you were growing up, the library was quiet. It was this stodgy place, cold. I grew up with the Madison County Public Library.
How about that?
I grew up in Berea. Sorry. I'm giggling a little bit already. But I grew up in Berea where our other location is, and that's the library I grew up with. And so I was there all the time. I could just walk up to the top of the hill where I lived, and it was right there.
Awesome. Jealous.
And it was not quite what it is today because we have grown by leaps and bounds and expanded our services and our programs and everything. But I remember being a kid and walking up there and getting the same feeling that I get walking in here now. And how welcoming and exciting it was and how just much I enjoyed being there. I remember programs.
Nice.
I remember watching Pippi Longstocking on a reel-to-reel projector with my husband in third grade. He wasn't my husband then, obviously.
Oh, okay,
but,
so that's a young wedding.
But no. We've known each other since we were like 9. No, 8, I think, yeah. Yeah, we grew up together.
I grew up here also at the Madison County Public Library.
Ding.
That's 4 mentions if
4.
you're counting.
Ruthie, that is 4 mentions in 10 minutes.
But I don't remember. We came here a few times. Like, we did summer reading when I was a kid. we did not come here as often as, I wish we would have.
Yeah.
But I mean, when I got into this field, I made a choice that I did not want any library that I worked at to be the quiet, stodgy
Oh, good
place.
Lord, no.
Nice.
Because I really, firmly believe that we have to be whatever the community wants us to be.
Here.
Agreed.
And that kind of goes back to the nerd, factor as well. It's so fun to come in, to work and talk to people who are just super passionate about literally anything.
Right.
Coming in and doing
right.
this, I can't see any of the four of us lasting for any length of time in one of those quiet, stodgy,
Yeah.
totally silent libraries.
Right, for sure.
I can definitely not
I
me.
don't like silence.
Nor do I really.
As outreach coordinator here at our library system,
Which is called what?
It's called the Madison County Public Library in Madison County, Kentucky, is where we're at. I get to go out into the community, and I feel like I have kind of a bit of a special lens, right? Because I'm not just in the library buildings. People don't just come to me. In fact, I come to the people.
Hold up. I thought for a second you were drinking your empty coffee. so it was April's birthday yesterday.
Happy
Sorry,
late
Brandon,
birthday
we're
to
gonna-
April. No,
Yeah.
go for it.
No,
So
yeah.
in the long line of pranks between Brandon and April, Brandon walks in with a Starbucks cup.
I
He's like,
fixed your little
I got
red
you
wagon."
coffee for your birthday.
Yeah, no, you tell him what the barista did for you.
So I went to Starbucks this morning knowing that I was going to prank April. I thought about it for a little bit, and things are busy
You
at
didn't
home.
block off 6
And
hours
I
to
couldn't.
slow roast a brownie.
I didn't have time to slow roast a brownie cake this year.
Roasted brownies.
It didn't. No. So this morning on my way to Starbucks, I was like, okay, so what I'm going to do is buy a real cup of coffee, but then I'm going to also ask if they'll give me an empty cup, and I'm going to pour like a tiny little bit, and I'm going to tell April that I drank it all. Ha ha ha, he he he. It's not really that funny, but it might make April
I think
happy.
it's funny.
I cracked
Okay.
up.
So I told the barista, I was like, could I have, it's kind of awkward just asking for like a free empty cup. So I told her why. And she looked at me like completely dispassionately and didn't say a word. I thought she thought I was an idiot. I was like,
Right.
could I have a free cup?
Or a
And
jerk.
Or totally a jerk. So I was like, have a free cup because I'm going to get my coworker and we prank each other. And she turned around and I was like, oh, she thinks I'm a horrible man. And she took the large coffee cup, put a lid on it, and then held it under the coffee drip for a second and wrote "Happy Birthday, April" on it. So as to
she was playing.
She was
Yeah, oh, yeah,
totally
she was-
playing.
she
I was
was
like,
in
"You
it.
hooked me up, girl." So go Starbucks. We
Yeah,
love you.
so thank you. I loved it. Hopefully you're listening. It was hilarious.
Happy late birthday.
And I have it over here. And then I walk into my office, and there's a coffee mug that's a Madison County Public Library coffee mug from a couple summers ago, upside down on my desk with a Post-it note that says, "Do not move unless you are going to kill it." I'm expecting it to be empty, and I lift it up, and Mark had put a snake underneath it. It was a fake snake, but it was a rubbery cobra.
I was expecting a spider for some reason.
I was
know
expecting
why.
it to be empty, just like I'm going to be all apprehensive and then lift it and then lift it up and there's nothing there. Something actually did fall out. It was the snake. It was hilarious. I loved it. I loved
Birthday pranks.
it. Yes.
That's my birthday prank song, guys.
I like it.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry.
No,
saying something
no,
really
no.
important And then
I don't remember what it was.
Our-
derailed us.
Yeah.
I'm so happy
That's
that
my
you
prank.
did. Our community knows that they can look to me for library resources, and they can just kind of ask me, hey, do you have this? Or, hey, will you bring this? There's a gentleman on my mind right now that recently is really into studying Russia and St. Petersburg, especially.
cool.
He's very
That's
into it.
random right now.
Oh.
Nobody's talking about that.
So he can't get to the library because he's at an assisted living community that our bookmobile actually doesn't make it to right now during this season. So I brought him a documentary. I found a documentary and I brought it to him. Not because I'm a cool guy, because the Madison County Public Library is a cool place.
6.
I think maybe
I think it's
7.
6 or 7. I've
right?
lost count.
But
at this point.
I mean that sincerely also. So
Yes,
yeah, it's
yes.
yeah, for sure. It's awesome. And it made my day to make his day. So
That's awesome.
Well, speaking of things that people are interested in, that people ask us about, that's
Yes.
what I'm going to talk
okay,
about.
Sarah,
All right.
links right up. Connective
Oh.
tissue.
I'm so glad that we don't video this.
I'm so glad that we don't video this too, Brandon.
It was just a
Especially
link,
in-
you guys. It was
Especially, I was listening to the pork knuckle episode, and I'll never forget when you were talking about like where on a pig's body the ham hock is found,
And you're
like,
referencing
grabbing,
your
like,
own.
your own like
hawk.
like your own like outer thigh. Is that what you call that?
That's
like
my-
your
that's-
hip area?
Your hip area.
Yeah.
I'm interested in the difference between a hawk and a haunch. I don't know if that's
Well,
I can look it up.
apparently,
I mean-
we've already talked about the hawk is the
It's the
lower part of the leg.
pork, also known as the pork knuckle. It's around the ankle.
It's the pork ankle.
Stop it. Stop it.
This will be the pork knuckle episode part 2.
The pork
No, it
ankle
won't.
episode.
Pork ankle episode.
Anyway, you guys, okay, we're happy you're here.
All right.
Okay.
So anyway,
Things that
nerds.
We're nerding out about pork ankles.
All right. So so we are taping this on August 29th or 30th? What's
Yeah,
today?
30th.
Because the 29th was yesterday, and that's my birthday.
Yeah, today's my little girl's birthday. First
Oh,
birthday.
happy birthday.
Yeah.
So many Virgos
Well, happy birthday
in this
to
world.
her.
Yeah.
There are.
Right, so many
So
Virgos.
many.
It's true.
I love it.
Anyway, so Labor Day is coming up. We're
Monday.
Monday.
So
So
the Madison County Public Library will be closed that
We will
day.
be closed.
In fact,
that
we
day.
will. No,
Yes.
It's true.
So one of the biggest labors, if you will, for a library employee is answering questions.
Yeah.
So besides the the flow of checking things in and checking things out and helping people find things, it's just basically answering literally any question you could ever think of.
Right.
gosh, yeah.
Right.
We call this a reference question.
Yep.
So any question somebody asks us that requires us to look something up or asks us to invest some of our time into finding an answer, we call that a reference question.
And Cece, not to interrupt you, but can I ask? I have a question about reference questions.
Sure. So you have a reference.
I have a reference.
Oh, yes.
I have a
Mark it
meta.
down. He's asking you a reference
I
question.
have a meta reference question. So is it so? This is actually just my assumption. I've never asked this. Is it so that reference questions kind of harken back to an older time when, so like pre-internet, right? When people
Yeah.
had questions, they'd come or call the
Yeah.
library. Isn't that so?
Yes.
Okay.
But people still do that.
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I mean, even if we use the internet to find, a response, people still ask us
Right.
anything.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, I think the phrase reference question kind of harkens back to
Oh yeah.
a reference desk and a
Yeah,
person sitting
yeah.
there
Right.
but can I just say I have mad respect for people that had to answer reference questions
Oh my gosh,
pre-internet.
yeah.
Like how?
Because I don't even know, and I'm embarrassed to even say this, but I'm not sure I could do my job well without the internet.
I feel the same way.
In this day and age, as things are currently, with my current level of knowledge, there are some things I could definitely answer,
Yeah.
and I could definitely make it up.
Well,
or
and I
fake
know
it.
too, like,
But yeah,
so
I think I would get there eventually.
Yeah.
If I was working on a reference desk and I was so that there would be some questions that would be fairly common.
Sure.
That you would know the answer to fairly quickly because
Right.
it were probably questions that you would get frequently.
right.
depending on
And
whatever's
along
going
those
on.
lines, when we were cleaning out the front desk or we were taking it apart in some way, and we found a box, and it was a box of commonly asked reference questions.
Oh my gosh.
So I feel like
Please
Ruthie
tell me
has
we
it in
still
her
have that.
office. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And it was just note cards. Like, say you were working the reference desk and someone asked you something that, was pretty in depth and involved a lot of work. They wrote down the question and wrote down the answer and I guess, where it was found. But I mean, it's not like they didn't have tools, I mean, they created tools or they had these things called books.
Yeah. What?
But yeah, and I mean, I will say too, I don't really think or subscribe to the notion that the internet is like this, crappy information source. I mean, there's crappy information out there, but that's why we're here. We're here to make sure that we don't
Exactly.
Right.
give out the
For sure.
bad
There was,
info.
it's a quote
For
by
sure.
Neil Gaiman about libraries and librarians, and it was to the effect of the internet can get you 1,000 different answers to the same question. A librarian can get you the right one.
Yes.
Isn't that interesting? So that points to like a skill of a skill of discernment, probably because we do this as librarians so often, right?
Right.
To sift through the information, and this is a skill that happened that existed long before the internet did, right? Because at that point in time, before the internet, your information was just as current as the New World or Funkin' Wagnalls that were on the shelves,
Right.
right?
Encyclopedia Britannica.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
like
for
maybe
sure.
a year behind.
Right.
Yeah.
It would
Well,
be
depending
about a
on where
year
you were,
behind,
yeah,
Right.
definitely.
For
Right.
sure. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you know what, Cece, I agree with you. I think that it's a lot like that. As far as the internet and the information that is on the internet is concerned, I think it's exactly like that, because what we're doing is we're doing the exact same tool as what these librarians and other researchers did back in olden times. They're going to the shelf and they're pulling the encyclopedia off the shelf and they're looking it up manually.
Right.
Well, we just have faster access to it, and we know where to go to get the correct information.
And there's a whole lot more to sift through, I think. I mean,
definitely.
inarguably.
Oh yeah, because there's not one source that like we don't have the internet version. Well, that's stupid. We do have the internet version of like Funk and Wagnalls, because there's online.
Sure.
Like, I think Britannica.
I'm sure.
I think we actually subscribe to
we
it.
actually have that on our website, on the Madison County Public Library.org website.
.org?
Right.
Yeah.
It's
or
.org.
MadisonLibrary.org.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Madison.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I was like, something was wrong about that.
Family
Sorry.
Feud strike 1X.
www.madisonlibrary.org.
I feel like
Ding,
you get bonus
survey
points
said.
for that mention.
We should get absolute bonus points.
Yeah, what are we at, like
so
10
our
now?
boss has challenged us to see how many
And by
to
challenge,
say-
command. Is
yes,
what
to say the name of the library in the podcast. How we doing, Ruthie?
Ruthie, I just want to make sure you know that I'm the only one who hasn't called you out on this to this point.
I don't know if that's true. I feel like you may have said Ruthie a minute ago.
You just said it.
Family Feud strike number 2. Big red X.
Lies. So, one more interesting fact.
Okay.
So, the reference question answering process, do you guys know what that's called?
The process of answering a reference
So,
question
someone
for a patron.
approaches a desk or approaches you.
Okay.
Right? You're on the floor in some way. And they ask you
I'm
a question.
Just laying there.
Yeah.
You're laying there on the floor.
You just sit on the floor
Taking
in
a
some way.
nap.
I'm just laying there in between the shelves.
Having a snack on a blanket.
We all know people would still ask you a question.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's true.
Duh.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
It's great. Yes, that's why I'm here.
And welcomed.
I love it.
So, do y'all know what it's called?
No.
No.
Retrieval.
The reference interview.
Stop it.
Reference
Yeah.
interview.
Mhm. Yep.
And
Yep.
it's so called because the librarian is supposed to ask questions and
Yes.
Okay.
So there's an
Reference
there's
interview.
an initial question, and then, as we all know, the initial question usually brings up other
yeah, for sure,
questions.
for
Right.
sure, for sure. Like, what
Right.
do you mean
Would-
specifically? Drill down.
Who do you think you are? What gives you the right?
I am
That's
Stardust.
an office.
What gives you the right?
So
right.
so if you're
Are you
if
aware,
you're a
sir,
fan
that
of the
you need to be
Office,
wearing shirt and shoes in the library? I'm just kidding. I'm
Oh.
just kidding.
if you're a fan of the show The Office, Michael Scott, you know, he hates the HR guy so
Oh,
much.
Toby. Yeah.
So Toby's exit interview
What
is
gives you the right?
is what gives you the right.
I'll kill you.
I think like question 1 is like, who do you think you are, and the second
Right.
one is like, what gives you the right.
What gives
That
you
is
the right?
hilarious.
It's one of my all-time favorite episodes.
So, okay. So if the process
Anyway.
of asking a reference question and answering it is called a reference interview.
Yes.
Would every conversation then be considered an interview? If there's an exchange of information,
mean-
unless. And every conversation would be an exchange of information, even if it's just sound waves.
If you're just now tuning into the Nerd Factor Library podcast, April is interviewing Cece about interviewing reference questions.
It's just an interesting
I mean,
thought.
that's sort of a I mean, that's
like
a
we've
big
talked
time
about,
question that I think only
with-
John DUI could
you know what?
could provide a response to.
There are so many new things in my life that I'm never going to live down now.
John DUI is
Just
one of
because
John
of this
DUI.
podcast and bathtub eating
Eating potatoes in the bathtub.
eating
Yeah.
cheesy
Eating-
potatoes in the
Yes,
bathtub.
eating Domino's subs in the corner,
Give me that.
growling at people.
Give me that.
Yeah,
I thought I
Anyway.
talked about food. Oh no, that was the soup thing.
that was the
The soup and the bowl of oatmeal and the you really are doing well, Brandon.
You really are. You're doing pretty good.
And today's
So-
podcast hasn't even really
No.
just begun.
So I tried a crowdsourcing on Facebook yesterday.
Every time I
and,
saw it, I was just like, scroll past, don't read it.
I just wanted to know what people thought we get asked the most in
Mm-hmm.
library land, not just the Madison County Public Library, but other ones.
In Richmond and Berea, Kentucky.
So what do you all think the most commonly asked reference question, according to my other librarian friends on Facebook?
What are your hours?
That was one of them.
I don't know, something local and political, maybe. I don't like I don't know, where's City Hall or contact information for some local?
Sadly, no.
No? Okay.
Oh, okay. I wonder.
Civic involvement was nowhere.
Wasn't even on there.
No.
Huh. Where's the bathroom?
Yes. Where are the bathrooms was the number
Hold
one.
on, stop the
Yeah.
train.
Really?
Where
No,
is the
that makes
bathroom
sense,
is a
though.
reference question. Stop.
Well, I
Think
mean,
about it, though. I mean, that's one of the things that you need to know no matter where you go.
yeah.
Okay.
So you can go.
That's for sure. That's agreed. Okay. Right on.
I mean, some would say that a reference question cannot be like yes or no, or cannot be one of those like
Well, neither
they're
of the
over
ones I
there.
mentioned are yes or no.
or just like one word like there.
There.
The other ones are can you help me print?
Sure. Oh,
Which
yeah.
I think
Okay,
is a
yeah,
big
that
one.
makes sense.
Sure.
And the other one was how many DVDs can I check out?
That makes good sense.
You know
also,
what? That makes
yeah.
sense. Well, and especially because ours changed.
We did
Yeah.
change
What?
ours.
How was it? 2 years
been
ago?
a
Maybe
couple
a little bit
years.
longer.
I don't know
than that?
time. I can't process time very
Yeah.
well. I'm like, I don't know, 3 weeks ago.
2 years.
Yesterday.
Last lifetime.
We changed from 8 to like 30
Yeah, you
on
can.
an
You
adult
can,
card.
we
Yeah.
changed it to where you could from only being able to check out 8 to
Yeah.
being able to check out any number of
Yeah.
DVDs as long as it to
People
max
are
out
always
your card.
shocked
To
by
max
that.
out your
too.
card, right? Yeah. The
People are always like, what?
iPop, I can check out 30 DVDs. Well, yeah. If you want to.
Yeah.
Sure.
You can watch them in
Sure.
a week.
Knock yourself out. Right, exactly.
Just remember
Right. Due date.
the overdue fine. is
Oh
50 cents per day.
man, 50 cents a day after they
So,
come due.
so one thing too that a bunch of people sort of commiserated about
Okay.
is we get asked to provide advice on things that we are absolutely not qualified to provide advice on.
I
Now,
need examples.
Yeah.
Medical advice.
Yes. I've been
like
asked. As a
how do
reference
these
question,
two
yeah.
drugs, interact?
Okay.
Mhm.
Yes. Right.
Please don't ask me that because I have no idea. And
Right.
I-
The answer to that
Want
one
you to live.
is here is the number to your pharmacist.
Mhm,
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
We cannot answer
Yes.
that question.
Cannot answer that question.
Yeah, I mean, lots of it is like legal questions.
I get that
We
one a
provide
lot.
notary service, and I'm
Yeah.
sure April that you're notary, so you probably get
Yeah,
asked.
I get legal questions for legal advice all the time.
Mm.
If I'm out there notarizing something, probably 9 times out of 10, I've got a question about legal advice.
So April, I
and
have
the
about
10 is a tattoo.
I have about 82 unpaid parking tickets. What should I do?
What should you do?
Mhm.
Hi.
Turn yourself in.
Get a different car.
Yeah.
Change your name to John DUI.
If you're listening to this podcast,
your
Don't
bags
right now,
and
actually
move
follow
away.
any of my advice.
I'm living in Susquehanna, Montana, under the moniker John
He
DUI.
is literally phoning this in. He is not here with us at the Madison County Public Library.
in Richmond, Kentucky.
I have unpaid parking tickets. I love the movie Liar Liar so much. That's where
that
that
is
comes
great.
from.
So
Okay.
do y'all want to hear the what I think is the funniest question
Oh,
someone was asked?
totally. Yeah,
Yeah.
please.
A man asked one of my friends at a local library, not ours, but
Okay.
like a surrounding county. He wanted the newspaper article about the robbery that he and his brother had just committed.
What?
What?
Yep.
What in tarnation?
Yeah. I didn't even ask her what she did. I mean, I'm gonna guess that he was not like on the lam because that's
Did-
pretty bold.
Did he
That is pretty bold.
Did he identify as part of the initial reference question, hey, I'm looking for this particular article because I'm in it, because I'm the perp?
Well, she didn't
'Cause I'm
say.
a
She did not say exactly what.
How interesting.
Wow.
How he phrased it. It was just
Okay.
That
I need
is
this newspaper article
interesting.
about this robbery that my brother and I did.
Okay. Well,
Wow.
all right.
I mean, I guess that there's a trophy case at home, and he wants
Yeah.
Yeah.
the
It's for his
article as
wall.
part of it.
Or maybe
Yeah.
he's doing his own, like Charlie Day wall.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
With
With
the yarn.
the finger pointing. And,
And
yeah,
the pictures of all
I'm the
of
He's
perp.
doing like a bunch of like scrapbooking.
Mhm.
He's
Yeah.
definitely scrapbooking his
Oh my
robberies.
Oh my lord, that's insane.
Another
Wow.
cool question was, why is there a moon shape on an outhouse door?
Great question.
That is a good question.
Yeah. So me and Danny yesterday. Danny is the Berea library manager at the Madison County Public Library.
In Berea, Kentucky.
Is that like 25 now?
I think so.
Easily.
I think we're gonna get our quota for like the year in this one episode. I know what this episode's called, by the way.
Me too. I was just thinking the same thing.
Is it called Moon Shaped Door?
No.
Moon
Yes.
shape something?
Yes.
I knew
Yes,
it.
that's
No.
exactly what it's called, Brandon.
Madison County Public Library, right?
It's the Madison County Public Library
I
episode.
love you guys. Go ahead.
So he found a couple things. One, it lets light in.
Right.
Right.
I figured that was definitely part of the reason.
Right. So the other one, though, I'm not quite sold on. Okay.
Okay.
The other one was there was some outhouse doors that had a star shape, right?
Yes.
And some
I
that
did
had
know
a
this.
moon shape. So the moon was a women's room, and the star was a men's room.
Oh.
But my question is, well, because it dates back to times where not being able to read was a pretty common thing.
Mhm,
Right.
Sure.
Right.
My question is, though, do you think that like a home would have a men's room and women's room? I mean, I guess
don't.
maybe in
Yeah.
like public places they had these
in public
things,
places.
or
Yeah.
Yeah.
like I don't know.
I've never myself seen or been aware of a star shape on an outhouse door, though. Those seem to have gone away.
Well, see, and I know
All I
that
can
there have
think of
been
is the
other
moon
ones.
shape.
I know that there have been other shapes that have been on outhouse doors. I can't remember any of them right now. I want to say one was like a chicken or something, and I might have just
Yeah,
been
I
like.
feel like you're right about that.
But I think that was like someone's home where it's like this is their house and this is what they put on there. Because as long as there's something to let the light in.
I thought you meant someone was living in a chicken-shaped outhouse for just a second.
Yes, it's
was
the
like,
Trojan chicken.
where did
well,
they
that would be
sleep?
cool.
How did they make their dinner?
Where don't they sleep?
I can tell you one place.
What does an
Wow.
evening at home look like? Okay.
So I did a little bit of, I don't know, reference interviewing with myself
What an interview.
because I wanted to know what people ask Google. Like, what do you
Okay.
Google the most?
That's so dangerous.
Google, oh man,
So dangerous.
it was a rabbit hole.
So dangerous.
Actually,
bet.
it's pretty tame.
Okay.
Really? I
I
would not expect that.
What do you think the most asked question of 2016 was?
In 2016,
Yes.
has to be something about Donald Trump.
Probably not about the election.
Nope.
Really?
The second question, the second most asked, could be election oriented, but the first one is not.
2016. Why are so many
2016.
celebrities dying?
Nope.
Okay. I don't know.
The most
When,
asked,
dear God, when will this year be over?
Right? Yeah, right.
the most asked question of 2016 on Google: what is Pokemon Go?
That makes sense.
That makes perfect sense.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But it also means a lot of old people are using Google because if you're not old and uncool, you already knew what Pokemon Go was. You were out there at 3 a.m. getting that
Well-
Charizard, son.
I am old and uncool, as we have already identified, because I am a Methuselic bowl of oatmeal. So
I got knocked out. I got
So-
knocked down.
Are you dead? Are you
Methuselic,
a skeleton head now?
I got knocked
Methuselic bowls of
down.
oatmeal don't play Pokemon Go. So I probably Googled that myself.
I just had a spasm. Wow.
See, I didn't have to Google it because I had my children at home who were like, Mom, you got to play this game with me. And we did. And it was fun. And then they got tired of me going, hey, here's my phone. I'm going to drive around. You catch Pokemon for me.
Right on. Oh, wow.
But yeah, that was I had a lot of fun researching this
That is
because
great.
I'm a nerd.
You are a nerd.
Right on.
I'm a
The nerd
information
factor.
nerd.
Nice. Heck
Information
Wow.
question answering nerd.
Well, speaking of interviews,
yeah. April, you have a soup can in front of
there
you,
is
and I'm
a
curious
soup can in
about
front
why.
of me. And this is Mark's contribution to the podcast today.
Mark, who will still not speak,
Who will
though.
still not speak. He's refusing to speak. These are job interview questions. These are real job interview questions. And so what is on the question, there are 9 of what are on these slips of paper. There are 9 of them. And each one is a real question from a job interview and then like where it is from. And so we're going to take turns reading these and answering them or laughing our heads off.
So I have a request.
Okay.
One of my main duties in this job is to interview people.
Oh,
Can
please.
I constantly be the interviewee?
I think that's an
Interviewee?
excellent. Yeah, the interviewee.
Yeah.
You want the questions to be asked of you.
We can switch off.
Yeah,
Totally.
I'm fine with that.
You all can.
Totally.
I'm
I wanna
fine with
be
that.
on the other side for once.
Oh, girl.
yeah.
You about to get grilled.
Oh, okay. I'm going first.
Here we go.
All right.
Just before you do that, April, I really just want to point out, I don't know if we've completely acknowledged that the soup can is in front of you, April, which is very appropriate.
And and it is in fact my can of
Oh,
soup.
too bad
All
it doesn't
right.
have
the
a
soup.
scarf and.
Just
I
making
know,
sure.
but I
Gloves
did.
on.
I did wear leggings and
Okay.
a
Oh my
sweater
gosh, you
and boots
did.
intentionally.
All right, very
But
nice.
I did. It was
That's
still
so
too
funny.
hot for a scarf, though. But I thought about it.
I'm wearing a very bland gray shirt.
I'm wearing our Eclipse shirt from last week's Eclipse event
Oh my god!
because everything else was dirty.
Because you are a dinosaur chicken
We
nugget.
really are our foods, aren't we, guys? Oh my god! If only this was like pumpkin spice soup, it would be perfect.
Yep.
But yeah,
Just do
even
this.
though I do want to answer questions because I don't ever get to,
It's great.
still I want.
Yeah.
Like we can. Yeah,
That's
switch
great.
off.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm all
I
about
don't. I don't want to
Miss Cece,
bogart the.
it. No, I think it's great.
Okay.
what kitchen utensil would you be?
Wait, this is for real?
Asked at bandwidth.com for a marketer candidate.
What do the bandwidth people need to know
Okay,
about
listen.
What kitchen
I've got
utensil would you be?
I'd be a spork.
Stop it.
Fork?
Already.
Yeah, spork.
Boom, hired. Right there.
Because
Fork.
maybe you need a spoon, maybe you need a fork. I can be both those things.
Very
I'm
utilitarian.
not even. You are absolutely hired immediately. Throw out the
Yeah.
rest of the questions. Roll out the barrels. Get this woman her name tag.
That
Okay,
is-
Brandon, you asked.
that is great.
April.
I'm going to now ask you, April.
Okay.
All right. If you could be one type of soup. I'm just kidding. That's a joke.
I was gonna say- I got knocked out. Like, oh my god!
That was just a joke.
I
Okay.
jumped in my chair.
The
Cheesy
real-
potato.
The real question is, why are manhole covers round? And this was asked at Marriott for front desk associates.
What?
Yep. Why are manhole covers round?
In what way would you need to know that information as a front desk clerk for
Also,
Marriott?
I'm trying to figure out like what the mind game is behind that. Also,
Manhole.
you know,
Why are manhole covers round? Neither of you are doing very well at this present moment, just so you know.
Oh,
I'm feeling a little
this is April's question.
reluctant.
because people are around.
Well,
I don't know.
Here's what I would say: because you can't fit a square peg in a round hole.
That kind of crossed my mind a little bit, but I wonder what the real answer is to that one. I'm going to keep this one out. so
Yeah,
we can
what
look this
is the
one
real
up later.
answer? Actually, Mark knows the real answer.
Oh, Mark
to
knows
it.
the real answer. Here,
So-
tell us.
Oh my gosh, he's gonna do it.
wait. Oh, you guys.
Are y'all ready?
The real answer for why manhole covers are round is so that they cannot fall through the actual hole. You can't drop a round peg through a round hole. If it's bigger,
because they turn.
that's right. No matter what way you shape it, you
But I mean-
cannot put it. It can't fall down on someone.
What do you mean it can't fall down?
The
Oh,
manhole
the
cover.
cover. I
Right.
see what you're saying. I was gonna say, Mark, a person could totally fall through a manhole.
I just want to take a moment to
That is
acknowledge
incorrect.
the sensual liquid velveteen that is Mark Green's voice on our podcast. So applause, thank you,
Yay,
Mark.
Mark.
All right. So so it's back to you. Back to CC.
Yeah,
No,
Okay.
wait. Has Brandon answered?
I
one?
have not yet answered one.
Okay.
of them.
Oh,
Is that
oh,
okay?
oh, all right,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay,
ask,
great.
ask.
Happy to. Oh boy,
They're really in there.
you're intimidating me. You've had two really great, quick
Yeah.
answers.
I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, but I was totally off on the square peg round hole thing. Well,
Kind of.
Well, I,
Yeah.
but
Really.
I
But
did
the-
say you can't put a square peg
Right,
in a round hole.
right.
Like-
but the art of the interview isn't
But if they asked me to
necessarily-
explain it, I wouldn't have said that.
I think
Man.
the art of the interview isn't necessarily to get the question, the right answer, but it's to kind of express yourself in like a creative way.
No, yes.
No,
The
sometimes it is to
interview-
get the right answer.
Yeah, I mean,
Sometimes.
I
You
mean,
guys-
we,
I'm
so,
getting nervous.
Yes, we do ask questions that have a right or wrong answer.
Sure.
But there's also a lot of attention paid to how you get to that right or
course.
wrong
Sure.
answer.
Right.
Because lots of times it's incredibly interesting to me, and I mean, this is me being a big nerd about how people respond to interview questions.
Mm.
But what's fun to watch for me is people talk themselves in or out of a right or wrong answer.
Oh,
And
that's
9 times out of
interesting.
10, I
Okay.
think it's all about what they think you want to hear.
Oh, for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
No
I
doubt.
think, and
Yeah.
you can tell
Definitely.
when
For sure, for
someone's
sure, for
like
sure.
talking themselves in a
It's like,
circle.
well, this is what I think, but this is what I think they want
So
to
let me,
hear.
if I may ask this question, I also I worked for almost a decade for the YMCA of the USA as a hire fire employment law person. So I have some of these skills too, and I'm curious. You just said sometimes 9 times out of 10 people want to give you the answer that you're looking for. I always found that when somebody just came correct and didn't do that kind of backwards and forwards, talking themselves in and out, if they just said what they meant, even if it wasn't like the prettiest thing, I was always like, oh. It was at least demonstrative of some like integrity. You know what I mean? I was like,
Sure.
oh yeah. I like where you're coming from. No, you're not supposed to punch a customer, but at least you're honest. I'm joking about that last part. Anyway, April, thank you. I'm ready.
Okay, all right.
I won't resort to violence.
Mr. Thompson,
Yes, ma'am.
can you say Peter Pepper picked a pickled pepper and cross-sell a washing machine at the same time? What?
I'm going to need to hear that one more time, please.
Cross-sell a washing machine.
Can you say Peter Pepper picked a pickled pepper and cross-sell a washing machine at the same time? Asked at MasterCard call center.
I see. So there.
I just need you to do it.
I just don't even.
I just need you to demonstrate
Right.
this ability.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, and when he picked the peck of pickled peppers, he really stained his shirt, like with the pickling.
Makes sense.
But this awesome washing machine took care of it without any powder or detergents at all. So if you're interested,
Oh wow! I want that washing
if
machine.
you're
know, right?
interested, right? Yeah, so
I'm sold.
The washing machine that Peter Piper picked helped him with the pickled peppers that he picked and stained his shirt.
You're hired.
That was genius.
You're hired. So far, I am not.
I love you
Man.
guys.
All right.
Mark, you're rocking our world. This is for you, CC,
Okay.
right?
He's already giggling.
What would you do if you found a penguin in the freezer?
Oh, Mark asked me this one yesterday.
Asked at
Aw,
Baskin Robbins.
spoiled it.
Ah.
Well, what would you do if you
A
found
penguin in the freezer. I would wonder how it got there, and I would try to locate like the Newport Aquarium or something to come get it.
Right?
I'll be honest. I'm amazed I have a job because my first answer is like, I'd take a picture.
Right.
I gotta get my phone and take a picture.
Selfie with the penguin.
Selfie.
If it's not on Instagram, it didn't happen.
No, that's right. Picture, it didn't happen. See?
Yep.
Wow. All right. So who am I? No, wait.
I may have to ask one now.
Yeah,
Please,
you need to ask one.
Yeah, no doubt.
These are great.
Yeah.
It's really the hot seat now when you're asking.
Pick
though.
2 celebrities to be your parents. Oh, cool. Asked at Urban Outfitters, which I think is hilarious.
Who are you asking?
But I'm going to ask both of you.
Okay. Paul Rudd and Elizabeth Banks.
Oh, speaking of Wet Hot American Summer.
Right? Well, actually, I've already determined a long time ago that if anyone were to play me and my husband in a movie of our lives, it would be Paul Rudd and Elizabeth Banks.
Well, there we go.
And I'm like, you know what? They would be awesome as parents and stuff. And like, so I want them.
Judd Hirsch would be my dad for sure. He said, "Look at me. I look like a schlemiel. Look, wipe your face off, son." And my mom would be, I don't know.
Well, if we're talking our real parents, I don't know.
Yeah, my mom always reminded me of Sally Field, so I'll say Sally Field.
Oh,
Aw,
that's
that's
cute.
a great choice. That
I
is
don't know
hilarious.
who I would pick.
Like I know who I want, and that would be Paul Rudd and Elizabeth Banks.
Right on. That's good.
We'll just go with that.
That's good.
All right. Is it my turn? I
Yeah.
think it is. Okay. All right. Asked at Clark Construction Group for an office engineer candidate.
Wait, who are you asking?
You, Brandon.
Okay, I'm ready.
Brandon.
Let's go.
Yeah, because I did the penguin thing.
A penguin walks through that door right now wearing a sombrero. What does he say and why is he here?
I'm concerned about all of the interviewers across country who are concerned about penguins, but
Right?
But a penguin wearing a sombrero.
he was wearing a sombrero, so he asked me if I could.
He walks through the door right now wearing a sombrero. What does he say and why is he here?
He asks me where the taquito truck is located
Taquito
on
truck.
grounds because he's from the North Pole,
Also, tell me where it is.
right?
Yeah, also,
And
yeah, likewise.
He's never had good taquitos before. And
Okay.
chalupas, so I direct him to the corner of 24th and Broadway at the other side of the construction site where I know Jose and his entire family, and I buy taquitos from them every afternoon.
Is this a real thing? Because I want that.
No, I
for
wish.
lunch.
Because I'm like, you take me with you next time.
I have bought taquitos from a gentleman named
Taquitos
Jose
and chalupas, though.
in my lifetime, yeah.
Wow. All right. Brandon.
All right. I asked UCC last time, so April, here you go.
Okay.
This is asked at Google for a local data quality evaluator.
Oh, Lord.
How many cows are in Canada?
How many cows are in Canada?
How many cows are in Canada?
Well, I don't know, Let's see. There might be,
you
say,
sorry?
You know what I'm going to do?
I'm sorry. I might just have to Google this.
Oh my God!
I am
right.
definitely going to
I'm
Google
gonna
this
Google
because
this.
I want
Hired immediately.
Well, while she finds out, why don't I ask you a question, eh?
Go for it.
All right. I don't even know if that's a decent
It's
accent.
great.
Or not,
No,
but
it's
I got
it
the
was
A's
beautiful.
in there. Let's see. All right. Well, since she's asking that, I'll ask you this.
I'm ready.
This one, Brandon.
Let's go.
This is asked at Forrester Research for a research associate candidate. Speaking of reference questions,
Right, no doubt.
If you were to get rid of one state in the U.S., which would it be and why?
Jeez, oh whiz. Bye,
Oh,
Florida.
ouch.
Bye. See ya. Sorry, Disney World. Sorry, all you guys. I myself haven't yet made it to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. I'm devastated, but I'm still going to say goodbye, Florida, because it's just too dank and wet and uncomfortable all the time.
Dang.
Yeah, it rains
Goodbye.
at 4 o'clock every day in the summer.
Sorry, Florida. You're just boring to me. Maybe
Yep.
maybe we
All
can
right,
get
we have one question left, and once Cece's finished looking this up, she can ask that one.
Well, all I can find are
you have to do the accent.
lists that this question has made.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a popular question, it seems like.
All right, here's my answer then. Oh, I'd say as many as they need, eh?
That's good.
All
I
right.
mean, it's like Canadian beef a thing? Like, is that like a big thing?
I would guess.
I don't know.
I
mean, I'm sure they. I mean,
it's not very far from Montana, and I know that's big sky country, and they've got lots
Yeah.
of beef
Right.
and things.
I don't know.
Are there
I don't know.
cowboys in Canada? Are there
I'm sure
Canadian
there are.
cowboys?
I bet there are cowboys everywhere.
Canadian cowboys are Mounties.
Well,
isn't
no,
it?
they're-
Well,
That's
no,
the
that's
Canadian
mounted
police.
police.
Ah, okay.
I don't know. Are there cowboys in Canada? You know what? That might be the title of this podcast.
Are there cowboys
might-
in Canada?
But are there?
I-
You should look it up.
I should look that up. Why don't you ask this question while I look that up?
Okay.
To all of our Canadian friends, we apologize in advance.
Yeah, and
actually,
sorry about
let
the
us-
atrocious
let us
accent.
know.
Justin Trudeau, you are still America's boyfriend.
What do you
Yes.
think about when you are alone in your car?
This podcast lately, if I'm being honest.
Right now,
For
yeah.
Sure.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I just typed in "Are there cowboys?" and the second search topic is "Are there cowboys in Canada?"
How about that?
The first one is Texas.
Well, go. Click on it.
So it's Texas, Canada, Colorado, and England.
Oh,
Boys, British
English Cowboys.
All
I
right,
know.
dude. I
Living-
say. That's all I
What do
got.
you say?
That's what they say. from horseback. Actually, I think they're riding
I
cows
say.
in Britain. British cowboys ride cows, not horses. I don't know why. It's just funny to me.
is this like a fact?
No, it's not. No, it's just somebody
Well,
just made
I
up.
mean, the very first thing that pops up is an article called "Living the Cowboy Life in Alberta, Canada"
All right.
from 2014.
See, I bet there are cowboys everywhere.
Those have to be, right? Wherever there are cows.
To ride.
The Canadian cowboy tradition is a lot like what we find in the U.S., down to the chaps and the hats.
All right.
Wow.
Very
Chaps
nice.
even.
They even have the chaps.
Do they have
Canadian
Marlboro
chaps.
in Canada?
Canada.
Brandon's killing it today.
I apologize to our friends in
Mark has something
Canada.
too.
We apologize. Oh, Mark has something.
He's not going to speak anymore, though.
Oh, he found it. Overview of the Canadian dairy industry at the farm. Number of farms with milk
Dairy,
shipments
duh.
in Canada
I
overall.
don't eat dairy. That's why I didn't think
Oh,
about dairy.
no. Okay, well, what year was this? Okay, well, the second item is the number of dairy cows as of January 1st of whatever year this was. In Canada overall was 959,100 cows.
There you go, Google.
Dairy cows. That's not.
Okay.
That's not.
That's just dairy cows?
That's just
That's
dairy
a
cows.
whole lot of dairy. I wonder what the comparison is between Canada and America. We don't need to do that right now.
That's
But
a-
now I'm
let's-
curious.
yeah, I know.
That's a big number. And since we do
And
everything
just-
bigger in America, I'm sure it's a little bit more down here. You know, I don't know. but
Well,
And just dairy
probably.
cows.
that's just
not
dairy.
even-
that's
That's
just
right.
dairy
That's not
cows.
like
That's
livestock,
not.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or just like
And
a
I don't.
pet
I was
cow.
going to say that's not like Holsteins or anything. I don't know anything about cows other than.
Don't look at me anymore. You look at
What did I miss?
Cece would like to have a pet cow named Bessie.
No. I didn't say I wanted a pet cow. I just said it doesn't count pet cows.
would like-
and then out the corner of my eye, Brandon's just like
She would like for
gazing
Bessie
at
to
me.
like hang out with her in her living room. Maybe go to her star-shaped, chicken-shaped outhouse. I'm not sure.
Oh boy.
All right.
This is just painting a
Is it
picture we don't
interesting-
need.
No, an interesting picture.
I love you guys.
I love you too. All right, so
Moving on.
since we're kind of on the topic of jobs and Labor
pet
Day is
dairy
coming
cows?
up, well, we were. Well, I meant like overall, not currently. What did you want to be when you grow up?
Oh, man.
So it's really interesting. I looked up the top 15 kids' dream jobs, and they're all,
What a good
what you
question.
would expect them to be. They were like actor, dancer, musician, teacher, scientist, athlete, firefighter, detective, writer, police officer, astronaut, pilot, veterinarian, lawyer. What? I did not expect that one. Lawyer, doctor, and then so those are the top 15 ones. When I was a kid, now granted this changed many, many times, and I still haven't decided what I want to be when I grow up. But when I was a kid, the one that I remember the most was when I was in second grade. My grandparents were living in Kentucky, and we were still living in Illinois, and we were getting ready to move here. And as we would travel back and forth, we had a lot of family. As we would travel back and forth, we would pass the nuclear power plant that's in Indiana. And I was always curious about what it was because it was this big building. It had these stacks and always this white smoke. I guess
Is that
it
the
was
thing
steam.
that's like on the river that you can see by the bridge? Okay.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
And so we would pass this going back and forth all the time. And so finally I asked my mom what it was, and she told me it was a nuclear power plant. And I was like, well, okay, what do people do there? And then she told me about nuclear physicists. And I was like, well, what do they do? And how much money do they make? And I was like, well, okay. So my grandmother has this framed and hanging in her house. And it was our assignment from second grade. And it was on that handwriting paper where you would, it was like an inch tall each line. And it had the dotted line down the middle so you could, practice your handwriting. And it said, I want to be a nuclear physicist when I grow up.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Because they make lots of money.
Gangsta.
But I didn't have my front teeth at that time. So when I would say this, it would be nuclear phythithith.
No.
I wanted to be a nuclear phythithith.
I love that so much.
That's so sweet.
So that's what I remember when I was. So whenever anybody asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, I was like, I wanted to be a nuclear physicist.
Oh.
What did you want to be?
It reminds me of that meme of the poor unfortunate little boy with he maybe has like some buck teeth going on, and the little meme caption says, "Hey there, little mama, let me whisper in your ear."
Oh yeah.
Yes.
He's cute.
That was great. So what did you guys want to be when you grew up?
Well, when I was a kid, my granny, she was a nurse, and she would bring home like those white, doctor's coats and all that, and just stuff, like medical equipment that I could play with.
Just raided the closet.
So yeah, so like I would walk around her house with the white coat, the stethoscope.
Yeah,
it's a mouthful around my neck. And my granny made me like a name tag, and it had my name on it, Christina, Doctor, like Dr. Cornelison or whatever.
Nice.
Yeah, so I thought I was like super cool. So that's what I wanted to be. And like I would like write out, fake like prescriptions.
Aww.
You wanted to be.
Did you have like your stuffed animals and you did exams?
I don't remember.
and
I'm sure
everything?
that I did.
Yeah.
I mean, like like kids have those little doctor kits or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I had
my brother and
many
I had
of
one.
those.
We wore that
and
thing out.
I really did want to be one. I was really and I'm still into health and nutrition and stuff like that. But I realized at a
I am not into
young
nuclear energy at all. I mean, other than using it.
I just realized how gross it all is.
Yeah, dude.
So like,
yeah, dude.
Mark just snorted in the corner.
So I was in like 10th grade maybe, and I took a microbiology class, which I loved, right?
Uh-huh.
But
microbiology is fascinating.
it is, and like
that was what
it
I wanted to
one
be
of
in
my
high
all-time
school was a
favorite
microbiologist.
classes, like studying diseases and germs, bacteria, stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
That was great. So anatomy was the next year, and I found out that we had to dissect a cat, and I was like, nope.
Yep. Yep. We did that. Yep.
Really?
And then I realized that again, bodies are gross, and I can't deal with it.
So before that time in your life, which of the Micks did you want to be? McSteamy, McDreamy, or McGhosty?
Forgot about McGhosty.
Well, I definitely did not want to be McGhosty.
Okay, I figured as much.
That was one
Yeah.
I did not want to be.
Okay.
Probably, I'm going to answer this as a serious question.
Very good. Yeah, right. Your job depends on it.
Probably
This interview.
Probably McSteamy.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Is he the one that always looks like even when he's like elbow deep in like body organs that he just got off a motorcycle? Is that the one?
Yeah, Eric Dane.
Okay.
Yeah.
He for real
Elbows
looks like he
deep.
just into the OR
And he like always has like the super steamy eyes.
constantly.
Yeah.
He could be like I mean, as you said, elbows deep in organs.
Like, right?
And has like, the one brow kind of.
Right on.
Like,
Like
seductively.
Is that how he is? Like
Yeah.
3 o'clock in the morning, like
Scalpel.
Probably.
going to the bathroom, like looking at himself in the mirror, like I'm still steamy.
Clamps.
Hadn't brushed his teeth in 24 hours, still steamy. He still kind of rides his motorcycle back to the bedroom,
Everywhere he goes, he doesn't.
gets in his leather jacket, and goes back to bed.
Yeah.
See, I'm picturing him like riding his motorcycle around the hospital, and then
sure,
like still
no.
straddling the motorcycle while he's operating on somebody.
100%.
Yeah.
That is
So
this
that's what I'm
character for
picturing.
sure.
Yeah.
Everybody out there who's a Grays fan, I'm sorry that I'm not.
I'm not, because
Well,
that's
we've already
hilarious.
talked about
Yeah.
how we feel about Grays
Yes, ghosty.
and how it was fine until the musical episode and the, as you saw last night, Brandon.
I did see it last night. McGhosty
He happened
himself.
to be watching Grays.
Oh,
And
boy.
Denny, the Ghost of Denny episodes began.
Oh boy, I did not. I still have not seen them.
So the other career I wanted to be in after I realized bodies were gross,
Mm-hmm.
a politician.
You know, I had
would've-
that
you
place
could've done
too.
it.
But
I
what
think you could've
kid
done it.
is like, I want to be a politician?
My brother-in-law.
Not president, not like whatever. Nope, just a politician.
No, just a politician, not. Oh wow,
Sit-
you
writing
really-
city ordinance politician.
Basically, yeah.
I'm a run for city council. I'm laughing because there's nothing wrong with being on city council. My father-in-law's
Absolutely
a
not.
councilman.
Of course, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Waste disposal, but however, like waste disposal in a particular district of a city is not generally the concern of like an 8-year-old child.
Fair point.
You
Fair
know.
point.
So go you.
All right, what'd you want to be when you grew up, Brandon?
2 different things, kind of like UCC. My first and longest aspiration in childhood was I wanted to be an OBGYN.
Oh, Brandon.
For sure.
Of course
For sure.
you did.
It was so that I could experience the miracle of life. Like I thought I was very into like childbirth.
Is that what you told people, or is that like really why?
That's absolutely 100% why. Like I was like from a
Listen, I wanted to be a nuclear phythithith. Let the man have it.
from a very young age, I was really like, how are babies born? Like from nitty gritty, what does it look like to how is it done, and all of the like. I would ask questions, and
Wow.
I would read my Funkin' Wagnall's encyclopedia about childbirth and gynecology and
Really?
obstetricianology. I don't really know. Yeah, I was really
Obstetrics.
into it.
Obstetrics.
Thank you, obstetrics.
Or if you're April
Obstetrics.
Obstetrics.
I can't. I don't. Obstetrics?
That was hard to say.
Obstetrics?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's-
obstetrics.
It was totally what we're tiptoeing around here in the podcast. Is as a child, it was totally like innocent and not creepy. Like I just wanted to like know more about how babies were born. I thought it was interesting. After the truth is, after I kind of learned that bodies were gross, and it was a little creepy of me as like an 11-year-old kid going around telling everybody that I want to
People
watch
are like-
babies be born.
People are like, oh.
Right there. Well,
Okay.
that's great. It's,
Is that about the time that your career
well,
that
it was
your career drive? I don't know. What did you?
It was
I
about
don't know
the
what I'm
time-
trying to say.
It was about the
Career
time
drive.
You were going to
Career drive.
I was going to say dried up, and I was like,
Your career aspirations
my aspiration
changed. That's
did
what I was trying to
change.
say.
My aspiration did change.
I'm going to make like 17 jokes the second Mark hits stop on this record.
Well, it was when my interests
We need
changed
to do an after hours episode.
from the miracle of childbirth, sincerely, to the miracle of how much I loved food.
Oh, yeah.
So I
that's
started
real.
really seriously studying culinary arts for a while, and my folks put me in like Saturday morning programs at like the YMCA and cooking stuff and whatever. So then for many years I wanted to be a chef. And studied that again just as a kid. Like it ended around mid high school. I kind of stopped.
So what did you cook as a kid?
Yeah, some pretty exotic
Please
stuff.
tell me you had an easy bake oven and you cooked most of this stuff with a light bulb.
Listen, I absolutely had that easy bake, but
Yes.
that was back in the OBGYN days for sure. It was a little earlier. I made a chicken tikka masala. I was into
Look at
Indian
you.
food.
With a
Yeah.
light bulb?
No.
Okay.
Not in my easy bake oven.
I was color me impressed.
I made it.
I'm like, is it still cooking?
I made it. Yeah. Right. You guys, I have 25-year-old
25
chicken tikka masala that's just about to ripen.
Light
It's just
bulb.
about to reach its maturity.
Oh my God.
Gross.
There are people like flying in from all over the world to sample this 25-year-old. Like people like Saudi Arabian queens are coming to have my easy bake oven chicken tikka masala.
It's just about ready.
The Maharaja.
They're just
is
waiting for
coming.
that.
No, but I would make a chicken tikka masala that I read about in a book that I got from my school library.
I'm just imagining the ding of the easy bake oven. Just the ding, all these people like weeping.
Reading from holy scripture, holy texts, like
The
chanting.
incense is burning.
And it's like this old plastic pink and white
It's on a
1988.
pedestal in the middle of the room.
Like a 30-year-old easy bake oven. It's amazing the light bulb is still going.
It is totally hasn't been touched since 1987.
Nothing like some 30-year-old raw chicken.
There are like elephants and people doing henna.
Oh my god!
So this is almost none of this is real except for the chicken
You're
tikka
kidding.
masala.
No way!
Almost none of it.
Almost.
The 30-year-old chicken tikka masala and the
That's the real part.
easy bake oven.
And the Maharaja who's coming.
And the
Do they
elephants
even,
and the
do
henna.
they even
Yeah,
still have
he was
Totally
Maharajas?
accurate.
He was really what he was joking about was the incense in the background. The real
Right.
was all real.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
totally.
It really is just candles.
It's
Right.
guys, it's gonna be bigger than the eclipse. I'm telling you.
Man.
It's gonna be. We are selling tikka masala glasses for you because the light bulb is not safe when it finally comes out. The light bulb's not safe for you to look at.
It probably
So,
isn't.
we're-
If it's been going for 30 years.
What kind of energy do you...
Oh my goodness.
I also made pizzas.
I really want a pair of glasses though. If you can spare some for us.
Listen, I've been getting calls, man. I've been getting them calls.
2024!
I've been getting them calls
man.
Oh my god.
for my easy bake oven. 30-year-old chicken tikka masala
Oh my god.
pilgrimage event.
Now, is this at your childhood home, or did you like move it?
It's still on top of a hill in Fairmont, West Virginia.
Hill. How is it plugged in?
Very long extension
There
cord.
was electricity there in 1987 when I started the project.
Like in the mountain.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
house
it's just
was on-
a natural occurring phenomenon.
my house was on a hill. No, yeah, it's a thing.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh jeez.
Thanks for the question, April.
You're welcome.
I'm glad you.
I'm so glad that I know this about you, though.
This has really
Because
been.
I'd always heard of the 30-year-old chicken tikka masala, and the fact that it's yours is just
Yeah, it's-
incredible to me.
That's like the ninth wonder of the world right there.
Yeah.
That's what they're calling it.
Are they?
All right, we're about out of time. Brandon, what do you
We
have?
are.
Oh, my
Oh,
goodness.
wow, you guys. I don't really know if I even can. I don't really know if you guys want
Brandon,
to know.
what do you have? Well, I have 30-year-old chicken tikka masala.
I do. I have it right here.
About to ripen.
I snuck you guys some from.
It was in my coffee.
I almost burned my my hand.
What's
with
so funny, though, is for lunch today, no lie, no kidding,
Stop it.
I brought leftover
Stop it.
chicken masala.
You can't.
Oh my god.
Is that for real?
That is great.
That is 100% accurate. I will
Well,
show
know
you
it.
when we're done.
I didn't bring
Oh my God.
anything, so I know what I'm having for lunch. Chicken tikka masala.
Ripened.
Ripened.
fully to its
Fully
fullest
ripened chicken tikka masala.
spiritual maturation. Well, you're gonna have to fight the
Slow
Maharaja
roasted.
anyway. His
I'll bring it.
bodyguards.
I'm scrappy. I'll bring it. That is so funny.
I was
man.
I am just kind of a. You may or may not know this about me. I'm classically rebellious. It's a part of me that I have to keep
No
myself. I really have to
way.
keep in check. Right. I think maybe have you even talked a little bit about my rebellious streak
yeah.
here on the podcast?
Yeah, remember the Britney Spears school photo conversation?
Yeah, okay,
yeah,
for sure, okay.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I have this. It's a part of me that I have to watch. Especially as a public servant, because that obviously comes first. I'm more passionate about.
Where are
serving
you a public
the public.
servant again?
Here at the Madison County Public Library in Madison
Boom!
County, Kentucky. That's
35
where-
mentions.
Right, for sure, right. So, however, when I have a really hard time with cultural phenomena and trends that I think are really stupid and outdated.
Sorry, I'm still giggling about the number of times we've said the Madison County Public Library.
I'm still laughing about slow roasted 30-year chicken tikka masala.
But for
Sorry.
dessert, they're going to
That's
have
really
slow roasted
okay.
brownie.
Yes.
Yes, they did. Right, I've been working on that project for at least the past 6 years with you, April.
Mm-hmm.
This is my rebellious streak goes so deep, you guys, that the other day I was walking downtown and there's a specific business that I love and go to regularly, but they had a little sign outside that said, "You have to try our new bubble tea." And I was like, "No, I don't." Don't tell me my business,
Also,
devil
what
woman.
is that? I've never had bubble
Bubble tea?
before. Yeah.
It's not my favorite thing.
I like it, but I don't like the bobas. Like the boba thing. I don't like the bobas.
Well, that's just your opinion,
Me
man.
neither,
See, I like the tapioca.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like that.
See, I actually
okay.
love tapioca, and
So do you have to like that to like the bobas?
you have to either no. What is so funny about bobas?
it's the way you
It's just
said
the way-
it.
Bobas. I don't like the bobas. Bobas.
Yeah, it's definitely the way you said it.
But I don't like them. They it's a texture thing. I just
Okay.
don't like them. The flavor is very also for me it's very fake.
Oh,
And
Yeah, it is
so I
very
don't like
fake.
that.
Yeah.
Like, do you drink it or do you like?
It's like a
Yeah.
It's like a smoothie, but it's not smooth. It's like a smoothie with little tapioca bubbles in it.
But they're like the size of peas.
The bobas are the size of peas, and they kind of pop in your straw, and then you drink the little boba syrup.
I'm
yeah,
good.
yeah. It's gross.
not
It's- I don't like them. I love.
You have to try our new bubble tea, CC.
All right, no.
Like heck, I do.
Nope.
It's right. It was
I'm
a
good.
big
See,
no.
now I like the tapioca because they don't pop. They're like it's like just.
They just ooze.
They don't
as
ooze.
tapioca
This
does.
is so
But they're
gross.
chewy. They're
this
chewy.
This is like on
And I love
par
chewy
with
candy.
having to dissect the cat.
Okay.
To me,
So-
I don't want any boba popping in
Boba.
my straw, and then I don't want to.
Because then you gotta go.
I'm good.
Then you drink the little boba skin, the membrane.
Yeah, it's
Gross.
Yeah,
chewy.
it's true. It's gross.
It
we
is.
not-
It is.
can we just
I
not?
don't like the bobas. But
You don't like the boba liquid or the boba skin or the membrane?
membrane,
Any of
the
it.
boba membrane.
any of it. I don't like. I don't like.
Any
I
of
don't
it.
like the flavor. I don't like the popping. I don't like.
So if
This
you're
is literally the grossest conversation we've ever had.
so if you're into bubble teas, in the comments below,
But
we'd
I do
love to
like
hear why.
I do like the tapioca. I love bubble tea, and I
Okay.
like the tapioca, but I don't like the bobas.
So this is actually about wearing white after Labor Day. My topic
Okay.
is actually about what. So do you guys
Speaking of bobas,
right? Do you guys know why you're not supposed to wear white after Labor Day? This is something I've heard all my life, and I'm kind of like garbage. Who says I'm not allowed to wear white after Labor Day? Right? This is where my like rebellious streak kicks in. I'm gonna wear all white
my
after Labor
granny
Day.
always did.
Okay, right?
Like said that it wasn't a good thing.
I mean,
to do.
like what I remember it from was it Never Been Kissed, the Drew Barrymore movie? She wears all white or
Yeah.
white pants or
Yeah,
something,
like white shoes or
and
something.
because she has to go back to high school as a reporter, and
Right. So it's this antiquated idea, and I did some research, some internet research. I didn't do any library research, confessionally, but the internet is not sure. There are some conflicting ideas.
Really?
Maybe it's a big cultural kind of a trend that had a lot of contributing
so
factors.
you broke the internet over
I
this?
definitely broke the internet. I googled it like 6 different times, yeah, or on my super private DuckDuckGo, not Google,
DuckDuckGo.
app that I use called DuckDuckGo. Anyway, so what I found out, a couple different things. Some fairly benign, some like wow. One of the things I discovered was, these are summer colors, and Labor Day represents kind of the beginning of fall. So don't
Sure.
wear
True,
don't
it
wear your
does.
summer colors. But still,
even
it's
though
like this,
fall continues until like mid-September.
it's this
Right.
hoity-toity fashion. I'm gonna wear if I want to wear gold chains and like Canadian cowboy chaps. Like, I'm gonna do that, and you can't tell me that that's a faux pas. Do you know what I mean?
I got my boots and my gold chain on
Wonderful.
right there.
Okay, so all you need are chaps.
Right.
Okay.
But I got my leggings on.
Okay. Another idea is in America, dating back to the times of slavery, that this was a method of control that slave owners used to kind of control the way the enslaved individuals looked and dressed and this kind of thing, and we still practice it today. Now, I'm not saying that this
For
is
wearing white?
for wearing white after Labor Day, because, and this is like a gross topic, like
Hold up.
obviously.
I don't believe that because
Oh, no, actually
Labor
it makes
Day,
sense, though.
But Labor Day wasn't even a thing until like the 1900s.
So this is what the internet told me, and I'm just reporting.
So maybe
transparently.
later. Well, but no, it
No,
wouldn't
I'm
make-
not arguing with you.
No, right.
I'm arguing with
I think the Labor
The
Day
internet.
part came later, but probably like after the harvest was done.
Maybe that's
Sure.
Maybe
that
that's
would make
right.
sense
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
if they're
Maybe
wearing
that's
white, it
Yeah.
probably is a way for them. They would probably change the color.
Well, and white
so
would
that
get
they could.
Sure.
white would get dirty for
Right.
laborers, very easily, and this
Right.
kind of thing. And when you're laboring out in the fields in the fall,
Well, I was thinking more along the line of being able to keep track of people's whereabouts.
oh, look at
And if there's
you,
snow
right?
and they're wearing white,
Right,
it would
right,
be
right,
easier
right.
to lose them.
So here in our podcast, I'm not saying that with people who I'm not saying anything crazy about wearing white after Labor Day necessarily. This may or may not be a contributing factor. But when I heard that it's this antiquated, that's kind of my point. When I heard that it's this antiquated and this kind of like embedded in potentially like gross cultural things, I'm aware. I'm going to dye my hair white after Labor Day and come to work as one of the white dreadlock twins from The Matrix. Like, here I come. Like,
Oh my gosh, please do. Please do. That is hilarious.
just to rebel against what I consider to be, personally, my personal opinion, is that it's an antiquated trend that doesn't make a lot of sense anymore.
I think it's been I think like the fashion industry has established that it is no longer relevant and
Good.
it's no longer
Thanks, fashion
like
industry.
the thing.
Well, I think it's also now kind of a trend to not have a trend, you know?
Yeah.
Right on. That's true, too. Yeah. Okay.
Like if, something was like a law, fashion law,
Mm-hmm.
if you will, because we all follow those.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's another thing that I just think is personally, I'm like, all this, and a confessional, America's Next Top Model is second down. I love America's Next Top Model. It's second down from Teen Mom. Like, I watched like mini seasons.
I used to watch it, but
I loved it, but
I've seen
I
it
haven't
some,
watched it
but
in a
not
long time.
much.
I still have like this gross, like, don't tell me what the trend is. I'm going to do what I want.
I'm grown.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grown. Okay.
I do what I want.
Right.
So can I end this with asking you all a couple more things?
Yeah, please.
Please.
There's a site that's part of all the Google sites called Trends. Have you heard of this?
No.
No.
Well, get ready to fall down that rabbit hole
Oh, boy.
Oh boy.
because it's basically charts, right? So charts
gosh.
of different categories that people
I
Google
love charts.
things within these categories the most.
Wow.
So I have data here from July 2017.
Okay.
What do you guys think was the number one most searched athlete?
July
of
Of
2017.
July of 2017.
John Wall dance.
No, July 2017. That's
Yeah.
like
I
2
still- that's
months
still
ago. That's
my
like
answer.
a month and a half ago.
know
Actually, not
many
even that much
athletes.
because I keep thinking it's September and it's not quite there yet.
The most searched athlete
Most
on
searched
Google
athlete
in
on
2017.
Tiger Woods. I'm not going to be any
July
help.
2017. Who was in the news?
I'm going to be zero.
Colin Kaepernick. I don't know.
Conor McGregor.
Of course.
that makes
duh.
sense.
I'm-
Because of the fight.
I'm so stupid.
So guess who number 2 was?
The Merriweather.
Floyd Mayweather.
Yep.
Mayweather. Mary.
Yep.
Or
I don't
May-
know.
is
Number
it
3
Mayweather or
was-
Merriweather?
Mayweather.
Mayweather. Oh, I was right the first time.
Guess who number 3 was?
Tiger Woods.
O.J. Simpson.
Really?
Because
Didn't he? Yeah.
he got paroled.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That makes sense.
Guess who the most searched actor was in July 2017?
July 2017.
Actor July. I'm sure as soon as you say it, I'm gonna be like, duh.
It is also O.J. Simpson.
Oh, okay. Duh. All right.
Let's see.
I
Google
forgot,
Trends.
I forgot he was an actor.
We should end our podcast sometimes with Google Trends. This is fun.
This is fun.
What do you think? Let's see. Let me find something else cool. What do you think? Okay, Brandon. This is a weird one, though. The most searched foods.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
In July 2017?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, if you said the most searched pilgrimages for holy food in northern West Virginia, I would know exactly what the answer for that was. But the most searched foods in July 2017, I don't know. Strawberry salad.
Properties of water is the
Properties
number one
of
search.
water?
I don't know what that means, really.
What even is that
But
thing?
number 2 is pretty funny. Chicken as food.
Chicken as food?
chicken
Yes.
Okay.
versus chicken as
Pet?
doorstops? I don't.
Yes.
Chicken as doorstop.
Chicken as outhouse shapes.
Right, good.
Yes. Yes.
All right, guys.
That is hilarious.
Now that we've come full
Wow.
circle,
I think that's all the time we have.
we are
I think
so
that's it, yeah.
happy that you have joined us here on the
Madison County Public Library.
Nerd Factor, a library podcast.
Of the Madison County Public Library
In Richmond.
Kentucky.
Also,
Berea, Kentucky.
this is Cece. We did not introduce ourselves.
Oh, yeah. By the way, I'm April.
And my name is Henry Dewey, and I live in
Henry Dewey.
Susquehanna, Montana. I'm on the lam.
You do not owe any parking tickets.
I know. Okay.
Madison County, Kentucky.
In that case, I'm Brandon. Hi, guys. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much, guys.
Okay, bye. See you next
Been
time.
fun.
Bye.